So I don't know about the rest of the community, but I am still basking in the Katina ceremony yesterday, which we had sort of as a culmination of our 3-month Varsa retreat. And we had one of our dear friends, Tracy Morgan, kind of symbolically represent all the lay supporters that we've had since the beginning of Sravasti Abbey, symbolically offer a robe of merit to our abbess, Venerable Thupten Chudrin. So that robe sort of, and I'm just going to give you my heartfelt experience yesterday, how it kind of moves into my life here, is that first of all, having Tracy, who's been with us even before Venerable signed the papers to have the Abbey, she has been one of our lay supporters. That robe to me really represented sort of the essence, the heart of this reciprocal relationship that the Buddha started over 2,600 years ago. That for the laity to work so hard to do their livelihood, to raise their families, to engage in commerce, to raise food, and whatever money they have to support the Sangha because they have faith and confidence in the monastics in teaching the Dharma. And then for Venerable to reach over and to bow to her and to take those robes to symbolically represent this interdependent relationship of, in exchange for your incredible kindness, the Sangha will always do its best to practice the Buddha's teachings purely and to really offer to you whatever knowledge we have in regards to being able to share the Dharma. And so when that moment of exchange happened, that's what really kind of hit me very deeply in my heart, because at the Abbey here, we're beginning this tradition that the Buddha had started 2,600 years ago. The other thing, I was walking out in the garden today thinking a little bit more about the interdependence of our lay supporters and of the Sangha, is that we've always considered Sravasti Abbey to be the home of sentient beings. I mean, we have 10 people who live here, but we live here because we have some different karma than the thousands and thousands of people who support us in that. We're here as the residents, but this place is considered to be the home of each and every one of you. And that the doors are opened almost unceasingly all year round to welcome people from all over the world who want to come and practice with us. And one of the most beautiful exchanges or expressions from our laity that really touches me deeply, because I think they take to heart this idea about this is your home, is that every once in a while we get things that come in the front door or come up the road in a car that are things that people that give our lay friends in their own lives, in their own world, something that brings them a lot of joy. Either it's a talent that they have, or it's a skill that they have, or it's a hobby that they do. And so there were two things going on this morning. I was thinking, first of all, is that Venerable has gone to Australia to share the Dharma for 3 weeks. Venerable Jigme is about to depart to Madison, Wisconsin for a month to share the Dharma with some of Dharma folks there. Venerable Tarpa will be going to Monroe, the correctional facility in Washington, to share the Dharma, and to a center there. We've been, Venerable Chini and Venerable Samta and Venerable Jigme have been sharing the Dharma here locally. And what happens when these gifts come from the laity is that it's this kind of gratitude and appreciation for the sharing of the Dharma, of the Sangha here. And I'm thinking specifically of a few things. First of all, the other day, well, a few weeks ago, we got a phone call from a man that we don't know. His name is David, and he lives in Eureka, Oregon. And one of his great joys in life is growing Japanese maples. He has a piece of property somewhere in Oregon, and he grows them underneath these very old growth Doug firs. And so he left a message on the answering machine, and I called him and he said, you know, I've been listening to your BBCs for years and I really love and appreciate them. And I wanted to send you something that I really love in my life. And I love these little Japanese maples. And how about if I send you 15 Japanese maples? Because he didn't know, he said, I think you have a garden, but I'm not sure. He says, but this is what I love to do. And because I appreciate the BBCs, I want to offer something that brings me great joy in my life. So they showed up 2 days ago, these beautiful little gems of Japanese maples. And so I was able to call David this morning to really acknowledge that the gift had been received. He was so delighted and so happy. We may never meet David. He's got a very full life, evidently, in Eureka, Oregon. We may never meet him. But this is what part of him sharing his life in gratitude for the Dharma that he has received. And so as I walk around the Abbey, I see these beautiful things that people have made us that bring them joy. Everybody's got slippers. Susan Dorick in Boise made all the Sangha these beautiful handmade slippers. And she made them all for the Yes Teens as well, because she loves to do this, and it's part of her giving a part of her love, part of her life to the Sangha. We have, I wanted just to list a few things. We had a few years ago, somebody got lost walking in our forest, and we had to have the search and rescue come out and find her. And ever since then, Venerable had made this aspiration that we were going to have our trails marked. They were going to have beautiful signs so people wouldn't get lost. Well, last year, Shane came up, and for like 3 weeks, his nose to a router, made these beautiful signs for the Abbey Trail so people wouldn't get lost. And then we have this beautiful Oh Money Pay Me Home that Sage Jerome Miller made. She loves to work with metal. This beautiful embossed copper plate that we have behind the Kuan Yin statue. So when I think about the interdependent relationship of the laity and the Sangha, there are the 4 requisites: the food, clothing, shelter, and medicine. And there is the Sangha's commitment to practice as best as we can, to share the Dharma from our hearts as much as we understand it. But in return, the laity not only give us their practice and help keep us alive and sustain our lives, but they give us these gems. They give us this part of their lives that we will never experience. We may never visit them, see them, we may never meet them. But they send to us these beautiful expressions of love, beautiful expressions of themselves in gratitude for what they receive from us, that I find personally deeply moving, because this is their home. And when I see the trees and when I see the beautiful signs, I think of Shane and I think of David and I think of Sage, that this is their home and that they have given us something very unique and something very, very much them to sort of take care of and to make this place beautiful and to show their gratitude for what we've really offered. And so may this reciprocal relationship continue to grow, and just to say personally from my side how deeply moved I am when people share that part of themselves that brings them the kind of joy, the kind of fulfillment in their busy lives, and that they're willing to give us a little piece of themselves in that way. I really, truly appreciate it. And that's what the Katina yesterday also represented for me, is this wonderful love that we get in all forms that comes from our lay friends all over the world.